Now you're like,
hey everybody, we're at Family Cafe at Phases of Advocacy presentation.
alright. Shut up.
Who has the time?
Good.
What time?
It is 2 o'clock.
Okay. I first want to welcome everybody to Phases of Advocacy. We have a great panel here, and I'm not going to take up much of your time, but each of these ladies have the wonderful ability to speak for themselves, and we're going to speak on a variety of topics that are very pertinent to, people with disabilities and how we've navigated the system of just certain things. So I'm going to let each of these ladies introduce themselves, and they have a topic in which they're going to cover that they have a lot of personal experience in, some more than others, and they have the knowledge and the firsthand experience to talk about so many of these. So first of all, Rebecca, why don't you take it away?
Sure, Robin, thank you. So again, my name is Rebecca Crosby. I live in Lee County, Fort Myers specifically. I've also spent some time in Tampa and Orlando, so I know Florida pretty well. I have, professionally speaking, I have a master's degree in social work, and I also have certifications in health and wellness coaching. So my profession is a big part of my life. But in order to do the things that I need to do professionally, it starts with my relationships. And that's what Family Cafe is all about, is relationship building. So for me, what that means is I have a staff of caregivers that I use through an agency. But when, for example, those caregivers might have their own things come up, life happens. So when I have a gap that needs to be filled, this is where this lovely gentleman, my boyfriend Victor, comes in. And he helps anytime that someone might need assistance learning a transfer, anytime that, say it's a Sunday and somebody says, well, I need to go to church today, or my kid got sick, that's when he would hop in and help. So I'm very, very grateful for the support that I have from him. I also have wonderful friends like our friend Candace here. Hi, Candace. And she and I have known each other for, I think 12 years, something of that sort. Yeah. So, and then it's just, I never forget people. So if you've been my friend, if you've been a professional caregiver of mine, we still keep on touch through social media. So let's say that, I need to go somewhere, or something happens where the first line of defense is not available. I also have many others that are able to pitch in and help, which is a great thing. But I think you all really want to know about Victor and I's relationship and how we make that work. Being in a relationship and getting care and his providing care. So, what we do where that's concerned is he might help with, my activities of daily living, as we call it, getting up, dressing, using the bathroom, things of that nature. But I also have to be aware of, he's a human being, and he's going to get tired. He's going to have other things that he needs to do throughout the day. So I also need to be aware of what things can I do to help manage his energy and manage his comfort, so that we can still be partners, romantic partners, and not have him completely burn out. So, I'll buy him dinner. I will take him out for outings. His favorite, I think, is the the massages that we get every now and then. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, babe. We also do, he likes to go out with his buddies now and then to do the things that boys do, boys and their toys. So it's just about communicating as well. He needs to tell me, hey babe, I need a break, or this is what I have to do during this time. Like, let's say he needs to go to the store and get some grocery shopping done. What can I be doing during that time so that our lives run efficiently? I can be doing things around the house, some organizing, making lists of what needs to be done during the rest of that week so that our days are planned out. And what am I missing here, babe? Is there something that you want to contribute? Thanks for the help. See, now this is the time when caregivers fall short. No, I'm just kidding. So again, it's just, and he loves his wrist rubs too. So I gotta give him a wrist rub now and then so that he's got the energy to do all that transferring that he does. But I am famous for making lists, making charts, so that everybody that's on my team is aware of what's going on during the day, what needs to be done, what the goal is for that day, that week, that month. And fortunately, I work from home, so that tends to make life a little easier because I have a little bit of flexibility in my job to where if somebody's not able to show up, I can just grab my computer, and as long as I'm looking good from here up, nobody knows the difference. And then do what I need to do once I can get someone in place for me. And so, a little bit about, I guess I should tell you a little bit about how Victor and I met. So this is where I got a little bit creative. So we met on an app called Bumble. And Bumble is, if you're familiar with Tinder, it's a little bit like Tinder except the women are in control. So what happens is you both have to match with one another, but the woman has to send them the first message, so you eliminate all the creepers basically. And so he and I met, and I was like, what's a creative way that he'll know that I, have a little something different about me, but he's not scared off by it. So I think I said something along the lines of, I navigate the world a little differently, and if you're open to navigating with me down to the local coffee shop, give me a call. And so that's what we did. Okay, so that's not me. So, we had our date, and I met him with some friends down at Japanese Steakhouse. So we had the whole table and could kind of get to know each other slowly and without a lot of pressure, and we moved from there. Babe, do you have anything you want to say about your perspective from when we met and what your thoughts were?
Just for me, and my perspective was, what I pay attention to was you and your personality, not how you navigate the world, because that really doesn't mean anything. It means, are you a good person, or, so it had nothing to do with the chair, and I got to see how beautiful a person you were inside.
Aw, thank you, baby. You don't find too many men like that, so he's a special one. And I have a lot of other, as I said, really special people in my life as well. Candace being one of them. Hey, Candace. But also friends that I've known through work, through advocacy that I've done. I keep in touch. If you're my friend for life, is how I view it. So I keep in touch with everyone. And it's not only about them being of service to me, but it's how can I be of service to them? How can I use my professional skills things that I've learned in the past, you know, and really building those bridges so that if they need help, I can do what I can to help them, or put them in touch with somebody that can help, and you know, they return the favor, and that's how it works. And with that, I think Sarah's going to now talk about her experiences with education.
Yeah, education and caregivers. Yeah. Oh. Hey everybody, my name is Sarah Canali. I'm from Highlands County, which is the central part of Florida. And I'm going to be talking about my experience with education and providers that assist me during my education journey. When I was in high school, I knew what I wanted to do, but I graduated with a special diploma. I wanted to go to college, but I couldn't get in with a special diploma. I attended South Florida Community College and got my GED. It took 3 years, but I succeeded. Then I went and get my AA degree. I was told that I would not be able to get my GED and degree with low IQ scores. I proved them wrong. They also gave me incorrect diagnosis of being mentally handicapped when I was in high school. After I graduated from high school, I researched my symptoms, which they match with my diagnosed auditory processing disorder, the reason why I have them. Not only I have physical disability, cerebral palsy, but I deal with learning disability, auditory processing disorder. Besides hearing, it also affects the comprehension. I didn't take no for an answer when I was told that I couldn't get my GED or degree. I use resources on subjects that I need help, such as math. It can be difficult to find tutor to match our needs that as a patient with us. I've met great tutors for math on campus, whether students are learning how to be a teacher or a teacher willing to tutor. Sometimes schools don't provide resources that I needed because of my background being ESC, jumping to GED or AA degree. My grammar and vocabulary skills were low because I've been interested going to Belmont University. I found a website called Pathfinder that was all resources for different needs in disability community. I came across Learning Lab, who provided tutoring virtually. They were able to provide tutors that fit in my needs, and I was able to break down information for me second. As I mentioned, I've been interested in going to Belmont University, but since I was the reason I was determined for my GED. I didn't know Belmont University existed until I read my favorite artist, Brett Peasy biography. When I looked it up, I was hands-on learning. I graduated from South Florida State College with an AA degree in 2021, and I enrolled in Belmont University in fall 2021 for the music business degree program. I took online classes for 2 years before I attended in classes in Nashville, Tennessee, as Florida resident. I had 24/7 care at an agency that allowed me to live my college experience and participate in college activities. I had a caregiver named Amber. In the following year, at a direct hire and staff agency, I searched the media entertainment industry's major, which is career side in music business, but no business classes and not a lot of math classes needed. Amber was a caregiver who set good examples being a caregiver and gave advice how to handle caregivers when they weren't doing their job. She would teach me how to tell caregivers what they need to be done and ask them, because asking would give options, I have created caregiver strategies called AMBER, A-M-B-E-R, that stand for ambitious, must assist, B for be there, enthusiastic, E for enthusiastic, and responsibility. I have my YouTube channel called Sarah's Abilities Edition. I recently wrote a song in my dream moment days to show how the world it was like before society had caregiver issues. I've learned past year respond to interview caregivers such as retired, making sure they understand what tasks are involved because they can watch it. Make sure their background check for our safety that is required. If I don't tell what it needs to be done in the beginning, then they slack and it would be harder to get them to complete tasks versus in the beginning. They are being paid to work for me as a result of that there were a lot of things I didn't participate in school activities, not just for leisure, but for leadership. I'm a tower team leader where we mentor incoming students. They are here to support our needs goals, meaning goals that can relate to our career. What kind of job do you want? Or study to gain skills towards job field you want to do. Like I mentioned, I have a YouTube channel called Sarah Abilities. I recently opened Instagram and Facebook account for Sarah's Abilities where I share original songs as artist and advocacy. My career goals are to be a songwriter, graphic designer, and make music industry inclusive and accessible for individuals with disabilities. And this is a picture of me, Miss Future for 2025. I came first runner-up this year. So my platform was inclusion in music industry, where I plan to educate all venues, regardless of our abilities and challenges. We all have a voice, including individuals who are nonverbal, because there's AEC, augmentative communication, that can help them communicate, and assistive technology, also FM system that helps you hear. We deserve to have a voice just like all artists and musicians, and I plan to teach society. We have equal opportunities just like everyone else. And that's what I plan to do as a career, as I've been studying my media entertainment industry degree. And yeah. And that.
One more question, sir. When do you graduate?
Huh?
When do you get to graduate?
I get to graduate in 2027.
Yep. Good morning, everybody. Morning. All right, you're all awake. Just wanted to check. My name is Robin Stosky, and I'm from Hillsborough County, Tampa area. I have worked with the YMCA I'm going to talk a little bit about disability and employment. I have worked with the Tampa Metropolitan YMCA for 18 years now. Before that, I worked for Shriners Hospital for Children for 7, including the CMS department. Navigating the work journey is not an easy one, especially for those with disabilities. I have been through the vocational rehabilitation, Division of Blind Services, and how many of us love to deal with Social Security? So it is quite a journey to be able to step into that realm and make sure all of your bases are covered. Working at the Y, I work as a membership experience advisor and also with their camp and after school program doing administration. A lot of this has changed, my role has changed over the years, and with my role changing has been a wake-up call to a lot of the services in which I need. Being that braces that insurance says that they're supposed to last for 7 years. When you're working with kids every day, 7 days a week, they're not going to last 7 years. So you have to find alternative means of coverage. Also, with Social Security, making sure that you stay within the income guidelines. Within Social Security, we ran into some loopholes where I have a visual impairment, and with the visual impairment for Social Security, the SGA of how much you can make is different than how much you can make with a physical impairment. So it took us 8 years to find the right avenues and the right journey to convince Social Security that my visual impairment was greater than my physical impairment because of the adaptations that I needed at work. And so after 8 years, they moved me into the visually impaired category, so the SGA was different. For vocational rehabilitation, I've personally had a very good experience with vocational rehabilitation. I found my own job. I just tell them what I need, and they can expect by every single March or April that I'm going to come knocking at their door. Work-wise has been an experience. Being there 18 years at the Y, 10 years part-time, 8 years full-time. It has been an opportunity to educate and give kids the opportunity to ask questions that, every child is different. We have a neurodiverse population within our after-school and our camp programs and service 115 kids. So you can only imagine from 115 kids roaming around the building after school and 390 during camp that we're going to have a lot of complexities and neurodiversities. So that is where I come in a lot of times, because in all sincerity, I sometimes feel like I'm living on the fence, because I am fortunate that I get treated the same as any of my coworkers, but I get the opportunity to be a resource for these families who may have a child or a camper sitting on the sidelines in a corner because they're overstimulated and cannot take the stimulation of being in a group of 25 people. So at that point, what do we do? How do we work with the parents? What coping mechanisms do we come up with? And that has really given me an opportunity to serve in both capacities. A couple of other incidents are, a couple of years ago, I had a young man, because I kept my wheelchair behind my desk, at the time, just in case of a fire drill or something like that. And the young man kept coming to me and saying, "Does your wheelchair have a seatbelt?" Okay, well, all right. I was a little perplexed at that point. And he's like, "If I ever need it, if I ever need a safe place to sit, can I come down? And I'll only be here for like 5 or 10 minutes." So this young man, who I've known since he was in kindergarten, even taught him how to swallow a pill at camp, would come down every so often, maybe once, twice a week, and sit in my, ask to come sit in my wheelchair, put his seatbelt on, put his head down, and 5 minutes later say, "I'm okay." Well, come to find out, after I had spoken to his parents and got for some further information, my wheelchair was a safe place for him to have absent seizures, because he knew they were coming on. And I just thought that spoke volumes to me, that the child felt comfortable enough to put the seatbelt on, get in a chair, have the seizure, and then he would just walk away and continue playing. And this went on for all 4 years that he was with our after-school program. Come to find out later, I didn't realize when I worked at Shriners, I worked with his mother. And it was just, she was actually pregnant with her son the year that I left. One thing, as I was preparing for this, and all of the resources that have played into me being a productive member and being employed for the 18 years at the Y, I was looking through my email box the other day, and how many of you have emails that you didn't even realize you had from years ago because your junk mail never empties out? How many of you guys can relate? I think we all can relate. So in the process of preparing for this, I was just trying to clean out my mailbox, and I came across something that I wrote 10 years ago. And I want to read it, as I think it kind of sums up some of the things that I'm sharing today. Growing up, it is every child's desire to be included, loved, and accepted, to be given the opportunity to grow and experience life to the fullest. To me, to be given the chance to develop life skills that will grow their confidence, develop their self-esteem as they get older and later become adults. For myself, all of these things played a critical role in who I am today, as well as my outlook on life's challenges. Personally, as an individual growing up, I faced many obstacles. Born with spastic cerebral palsy, due to complications at birth, I was only able to walk short distances with the use of a walker. Otherwise, I was dependent on a wheelchair or crawling for my primary means of mobility. However, through the challenges, numerous surgeries, and therapy sessions, deep within, I just wanted to be that normal kid. And the YMCA gave me that opportunity as a third grader, as I was a member personally of their after-school program, where I was not only received help with my homework, which I really didn't need at the time, given a chance to take part in games and activities, but build relationships with other kids in a safe, nurturing environment. Today, many years later, the Y has been a foundational part of my life, not only to be who I am as a person, but being an instrumental part in helping me overcome the obstacles that were once greater than myself, spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. In 2006, I was given the honor of becoming a part-time employee of the YMCA as a Welcome Center representative for the last 10 years as a part-time employee, where I get to greet members on a daily basis and share in their successes as well as they share in mine. I get to see firsthand some of them face struggles and rejoice with others as they complete their first 5K and cry with others as they battle the diagnosis of cancer. With a love for sports and with the help of the dedicated staff and training, I competed in the 2008 Paralympics in the shot put, discus, and javelin. However, I was also given the opportunity to take my first steps walking independently because of the strength, hard work, and support of my wife family. And I can now stand tall, have greater mobility, and stand hands-free. My homework really began 8 years ago when I became a full-time employee of the Y as a membership experience director. And I was breaking barriers and stereotypes, as well as advocating and navigating the journey and red tape fine lines in the understanding of policies and procedures of our state agencies and organizations, often helping them understand their own guidelines and policies. Today, I believe I have assisted others like myself have the opportunity to maintain full-time employment, work a successful job, participate in the community, and learn the life skills we need to be the leaders we're called to be and the pioneers for tomorrow. With that said, there's a lot of work to do out there. This isn't easy. I was very surprised when I found this. And this was 10 years ago. The thing is, there should not be any blocks in us working full time. But we have to be the ones to educate and to share our knowledge and advocate for ourselves that we can do anything we set our minds to. And this is a little bit of this is my late dog Cody. And just some other pictures of my family and friends. My healthcare experience. And next I'm going to bring up Shatikwa, and she's going to finish up and knock it out of the ballpark for us.
And Shatikwa, sorry, before you start speaking, I just want to let you know, we did leave some time at the end if any of you have questions for the four of us.
Thank you, Robin, and the great group of ladies that I've been able to work with for this presentation. I'm going to talk to you about community accessibility. As people with disabilities, we like to be involved in the community. Just like anyone else, we like to go out shopping, we like to go to events, we like to go to church, we like to go to restaurants. You know, we want to be out in the community too. It's more than just work, it's more than just school, it's a social interaction. And that's important for everyone, but especially people with disabilities, because it helps in keeping us encouraged. So, but in the process of being active in the community, it takes a little bit of extra work and planning ahead. Because some people with disabilities can drive, but if you're unable to drive, then you have to plan out your transportation. Most of the time, transportation comes through parent training programs, which take me from door to door, or if I'm able to, I can ride with a friend or some other natural support. So transportation is part of community activity, because without transportation you can't get there to be involved. Is that another part of navigating community accessibility is travel. A little bit about me. I am an author, so I write books, and part of me writing books in my community participation is that I go to different places and show my books and sell my books, like I am this weekend at Family Cafe. And sometimes I do it locally, and sometimes I have to go to other locations, different states, different cities, and sometimes that requires airplane travel. And airplane travel is another part of community accessibility that requires advocacy, because you have to be able to communicate your needs to take the airplane. So you know, as you're booking, you have to tell them about your wheelchair or your mobility device that you need someone to take you to the airplane or whatever. So speaking up is part of a community accessibility, is to voice your needs as you travel, as you go from location to location. So this is me with family and friends that as I go to different places, and each place requires me to advocate what I need, you know, whether or not I need help transferring or help with getting food or whatever. I had to speak up. So, but having family and friends is an important part of community accessibility, because there are people you can call on. Along with family and friends, you do have to use other services like PCAs, running home, or PCAs to take you out. Again, I was speaking of the airplane travel. When I go to Tennessee, it requires the airplane travel and me being able to communicate my needs even while at camp, to communicate my needs. So advocacy is important for community involvement. Another part of community involvement are different activities and adaptive sports that I think some earlier pictures showed the adaptive sports, that like adaptive skiing, I know there's adaptive horseback, there's all kinds of adaptive sports. So where you live at is, you can go into your county website and and look up adaptive sports and find different activities that are in your area adaptive wise. So me personally, for community activities, I have a ministry called Hidden Treasures Ministry, in which I do community outreaches for people with disabilities, and that requires me to ask friends and volunteers to help me set up, to help me do the activities for other people. So that's another real important part of community. Another activity I do is for the sins. Most of that is done online, but also I'm here at the Family Cafe on behalf of Florida. So that requires me to travel, and that also requires me to have a PCA. So I have to advocate and tell my PCA what I need or the dates I'm going to be there, the dates of my travel, the dates I'm going to return, the needs I have while I'm here. So you know, PCAs are important. I do at home, like different, I pray for the Mayor's Alliance, I pray for Miss Wheelchair Florida, I travel and speak, and all of this is community involvement. Again, the travel aspect, the PCA aspect, the friends, so all that is important. Another just idea for community accessibility is to get involved in organizations. If it's your local transportation board or your county disability group, just to find different ways, different activities, and different boards to get involved in that will allow you to speak up on behalf of the disability community, not just for yourself, but for the disability community as a whole. Once we learn, then it's our responsibility to teach others. So I love this opportunity today. So we do have a list of resources that we all use. I believe that everyone receive a resource page on your.
I passed it out.
Okay, everyone has a resource page, and that page has a lot of the resources that we use on my local level and on a state level to remain independent, to gain more independence and more experiences. So that's our resources to share with you. And now we will have.
One thing I love that Antigua said was that we all learn from each other, and it's our kind of as individuals with disabilities, it's it's almost our opportunity to be a voice for those that don't have a voice. And we've heard that time and time again, that we need to be resources for other people and learn from each other. So we're just going to take this time you got the resource page. You're more than welcome to keep that. If you have anything to add, that would be great. It's going to be on the Family Cafe website as well. But does anybody have any particular questions that they would like to ask any of the panelists?
I know you all have something you're thinking about. Come on now, don't be shy.
I do. Well, can I make a statement? And then
A statement.
Of course.
Okay. My name is Natalie Horn, and I'm way older than y'all. But to go briefly down my journey, I was told as I was born with cerebral palsy, and I was told that there would be no hope.
I think you're out of it.
Having a life. Well, the more you tell me no, the more I tell you yes.
I'm so sorry that was your experience, Natalie.
I went to high school, college, got a job, raised two kids. I retired from my job of 30 years. But I constantly have to prove myself. When I first meet somebody, they assume that the way I speak and talk, that I have no clue. So after a while of talking to them, then they realize, after hours of they'll ask me some questions, and then I come up with answers. It's a constant. I'm an advocacy for the voices. I go to doctor's appointments with people that cannot communicate on their own. I take them grocery shopping. I do all the activities of daily living. Yet, I still have to prove that I am a Black female disabled woman. Did you realize that's a lot of
That's so nice.
that's the weight that I bear still, and I just always will. Now for the question. How do you also have to prove that you are, worthy of respect, worthy of, you don't pay my bills, I pay my bills,
Sure.
people look at you and automatically assume that somebody takes care of you. that you don't have sense enough to say what color dress I want to wear, or they'll ask me, do you know what you wear? Or, you know, they talk down until I talk up. So,
I think with that, I
I
think with that said, I've run into the experience, especially, I went, but for the first 10 years, I worked at 4:45 in the morning at the Y till 8 a.m. And not too many people are awake at that hour, so they can say some very odd things. But the thing is I will be very transparent with you, is 8 years ago, one of the reasons why I transferred was because I was in a mentorship program with our membership department. And the location that I'm working with now, by the first words that my new boss said to me at that location, said to my old supervisor at the location I used to work at and worked in the morning, is Robin may use a chair at times, but that doesn't mean she sits on her head. Mm-hmm. So it is all about philosophy. And the thing is and once you gain respect with the members, and once you gain respect with the people that you're working with every day, I had a problem with that until I built the respect and they saw me every day. But when I first came in, those kids tried to play me like they didn't understand what I said. Or they tried to get away thinking, oh, that she can't run as fast as me. So it came with time. But don't give up.
I want to borrow or steal your line that you just said about they talked down to you until you spoke up or until you talked up. Because I work at, I'm in Lee County as well.
Oh, wow.
And I'm the lab coordinator at Lark.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar, but
Very
it's
familiar.
it's the Lee Association of Remarkable Citizens, and it's an adult day training facility for adults with intellectual uniqueness. And we work on self-empowerment and you know, how to live independently and all of those things. And I love that statement that you said, and so I'm going to steal it, probably to your credit. But but give that to our individuals, because you know our individuals are anywhere from 24 to 82 years old, and so we have this whole gambit of you know, the younger generation coming in. You guys are so self-empowered and you know, standing up for yourself, and then we have the older generation who are told you should be in an institution or you can't do anything, and so we're trying to take everybody and help them do exactly what you guys are doing. And so I just love that. I think that was beautifully well said in a way where it's kind of a polite way of saying, like, shut your mouth, I'm amazing. Like, you know what I mean? But it was a very polite way of saying it. So I'm gonna steal it.
Just another offer you have.
Early County as well? There, that's, yeah, where.
Right here.
So-
Yes. Just another one you can borrow if you like is, you know, I'll go to appointments, I'll go out in the community, and I'll have somebody with me, and whoever I'm dealing with in the community or at that doctor's appointment will say, what would she like to do, or what is she here for? And I'll say, you can speak directly to me. I'm not a figment of your imagination.
Yeah.
And thank you, by the way, for saying that I'm young. Just so you know, I'm not that young. I'm 46 now, so I'm getting up
You're
there,
young.
So I understand what it's like to.
I remember 46.
Okay, Grandma.
Okay, Grandma. It's like to be told that, you know, I would not get an education, I would not have a job, I would not have a relationship, or be able to move out on my own, and I've done all those things. So Natalie, congratulations on all your accomplishments as well. And keep in mind that those things are accomplishments. it takes work and dedication to be able to live the life that you want. So even if you're not there yet, you'll get there.
And Natalie, I also want to say to you, thank you for all the work that you do with the medical students. And teaching them and bringing up a generation of healthcare professionals that treat everybody with equality.
Can I tell you a short story?
1 second, now, I think did somebody over here have a question as well?
I was gonna give her a pointer about that because I worked at the Menninger in Houston, the best psychiatric facility in the world, and they use a system called Mentalizing. There's a book about it. And I was gonna tell you, you can just let them know and like, not role playing, but like place the mirror on them and just say, just like you, I'm a human being and I have likes in this life.
That's what this story is about.
Oh, okay, so
I was with a developmental lady. We went out to lunch. I took her out to lunch. The waiter asked her, what did I want? She asked her, what did she want? So, she not want asked me, what did I want? So we get out food, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna ride this out. So we ate our food. The waiter come, and she's looking at my developmentally disabled person, and she said, how are you gonna pay? Well, she said, well, she's paying. What in the mean? And I said, well, I thought it was gonna be free because you did not want that. Me, what did I want? So I thought it was gonna be free.
Heck yeah.
I'll share with y'all too. I once had a nurse come into my home after I'd been in the hospital. You know, they were doing the whole post-discharge checkup that they do, and it was a male nurse, and he came into my room and was like, "Why is your bed so big? And you work? I can't believe that you work." Yes, I work. And you have a boyfriend? Who would want you? And so when he came into my room and said, "Why is your bed so big? Why do you need a bed that big?" And I said, "'Cause as long as I bought it, I'll do what I want and who I want in it. So take that."
One of the things that we do that our executive director got started at our program is we bring in the local students from the colleges that are in the EMT programs and the fire academies and the police department, and have them spend a day on our campus interacting with our clients and going to the classes with them and getting to know them, because so many people think disability looks a certain way. You know, you think, oh, well, somebody's disabled, and you picture somebody maybe with Down syndrome, or you picture somebody, and you don't think about somebody with autism, or somebody, you know, if you rolled in for your doctor's appointment and they're going to go, oh, we're going to need all hands on deck, and you no, actually, I just need a pen to sign this document. You know, so it's really a great thing where they're teaching even people in those professions too, so that you don't have these types of experiences that are so negative and, you know, aggravating.
What type of feedback do you get from the fire department?
When they first come in, they're anxious and a little bit nervous, and then at the end of the day, they are nonstop smiling and talking about how amazing it was, and they always want to come back and do activities with us. We have one of our EMT students who now comes back every Friday as a full-time volunteer. So it's really helps build just community in general, which is so important. And it helps our individuals. You know, some are fearful of the police or EMTs or the fire department, and now they're seeing, you know, okay, good, they're there to help, or, you know.
Right, it's all about perspective.
It is amazing how people will judge a book by its cover, right? I used to
And it
be
goes both
346 pounds.
Yeah. And it does go both ways, it really does. Like,
Yeah.
we have a young man on campus, every time a police car goes by, oh, the police, the police, the police, and he starts panicking, and, you know, I don't know, maybe that's how he grew up, or maybe one time he had a bad experience, but, you know, now, hopefully, if, God forbid, he's ever in a situation where the police arrive somewhere, he's able to be like, okay, well, as long as they're not here for me, everything's okay.
Right.
So,
It's incredible. It's incredible. How people can judge.
I had my children. I had two, a boy and a girl. Okay, so I go in there and I say to the doctor, I'm pregnant. And the look on it, they, you would have thought that I exploded a bomb of
What happened?
mass destruction, and his first thing was, what do you with a baby? So I said, well, excuse me, before I answer you, how many children do you have? What do you mean with now? I'm not trying to be smart. Everything that you're asking me, anyway, they assume that I was high risk. They assume that I didn't carry my children. They assume that I would need a sister. Well,
or that it wasn't your choice.
yes.
And you know what the word assume means?
Yep.
Did you know what it means?
Yeah.
Of you and me.
Yes.
Have you
Not,
that
not,
before?
not only anything.
It makes sense. Of you and me. That's what the word assume means.
Yeah, yeah. So, that, okay, so, I carry my baby 8.5 months.
Wow.
I carry my second. He was a week early.
Oh, wow.
No problem. The first one, they thought that I just had to have the sister. The second one, I had not. And wow. You know, like, but you just did it.
You did better than me.
It's 11.
I had to have a perinatologist and they were born 3. The 3 of them had to go to Jackson next year. Level 4.
Well, Natalie, we would love to talk with you more. We find you are an amazing individual, but we need to wrap this up because we have another individual who needs to be at another presentation halfway across the building.
But we are happy to talk to any of you individually.
Yes.
If you have more questions, if you want more resources from us, thank you so much for coming. We
What's your
so
name? What's the number of your booth?
Bruce,
Sarah.
Was it fulfill what it's saying?
no. My book, I have a booth in the book, in the